All right, are you ready to learn about two more explorers? I know there's nothing you would rather do right now, so get your social studies book and open it up to page 54 and get your chapter 5 packet and open it up to Francisco Vázquez de Coronado. That's where we're at. This is, I believe, page 4 of your chapter 5 packet. Francisco Vázquez de Coronado. That's who we're looking at first. So again, I'm going to read it. I'd like for you to follow along with me. And we're going to fill out those 6 things about two explorers today. Section 5.7 and Section 5.8. First things first, if you look in the bottom left-hand side of this page, we see he was quite the traveler here. So you're going to transfer these arrows onto your map for the route of exploration. And I can see we start underneath kind of this big island there, and we're going up and then down. So I'm gonna draw my little arrows on my map, and the first one I just drew looks like that. And then it also looks like once they got here, they traveled up and over to a couple different spots. So I'll show you what mine looks like in just a moment. I just did that. So not perfect, but gives us a general idea of where he was at. Again, this is way different than Jacques Cartier, where we were yesterday, but people explored different areas. Okay, so we're looking for the job, the sponsor, the dates, the motives, and the impact. Let's go. Spain's rulers gained wealth and power from their land claims in Mexico and South America. So they wanted more land in North America. In 1540, hundreds of Spanish conquistadors marched north from Mexico under the command of Francisco Vázquez de Coronado. Coronado had come to America to seek glory and fortune. So motives right there are glory and fortune. So underneath motives for Francisco, glory and fortune. Do you think this is going to be another nice guy? I don't know. We'll see. Although he was a nobleman by birth, that's his occupation. We're going to consider that the occupation. So nobleman, again, that is basically a social class. It's a high social class. You're born into wealth. His brother had inherited most of the family wealth. Coronado paid for his expedition with money from his rich wife and the viceroy or governor of Mexico. So sponsor was Spain. And then specifically, it's just kind of fun, we can say the rich wife and the governor of Mexico. But basically, any land that was claimed would be claimed for Spain. Okay, we are on the 3rd paragraph now. A priest had told Coronado that he had seen one of the 7 cities of gold in Cibola, modern-day New Mexico. The Spanish had heard that the 7 cities were as rich as the Aztec Empire in gold. Coronado marched to Cibola. He found Indian pueblos, but no gold. Scouts looked further. They found the Grand Canyon and the Rio Grande Valley, but no gold. Still dreaming of gold. We already have glory and fortune for the motive, so we're good. You can add gold if you want, because they just said gold a lot of times. So still dreaming of gold, Coronado listened to an Indian slave. The slave told of a land where boats with golden eagles sailed past trees hung with golden bells. Golden bells. I think we have to write gold. We'll do it soon. To find this land, Coronado marched across the plains to what is now Kansas. Again, he found no gold. Angry, Coronado had the Indians strangled before heading home. Coronado and his men returned in disgrace to New Spain in 1542. Representatives of the Spanish king later charged him with bad leadership of the expedition and treating the Indians cruelly. Only the Spanish missionaries considered Coronado's expedition successful. It gave them a chance to convert Indians in the southwestern part of North America to Christianity. So Spanish missionaries thought his expedition was a success because they were able to accomplish what their goals were. Okay, we still have a few blanks on here. And for the dates, we didn't list them down, but it did mention in that first paragraph that this all started in 1540. So for dates, we're going to write that starting date of 1540. And in our last paragraph, it says that they returned in disgrace in 1542, and that is the end of his travels. So 1540 to 1542. One of the impacts, he mistreated or killed natives. I think that's about it. That is about it. And we can add gold. I'm going to add it in all caps under motives. Gold, gold, gold. That's all he cared about. Okay. We are now going to look at section 5.8. So you're going to flip your paper over to Henry Hudson. Henry Hudson. And that is on the very next page in the book. We're on section 5.8. Same thing. We're looking for these 6 things, but let's start with our map. Because if you look right at the bottom here, we can see our map. And we're going up high again, down low, too slow. Sorry, I can't help myself. Even when I'm in here talking to myself, you know, just talking to my phone, I can't help but be silly. So right here, we have that arrow. Here's Michigan, and I see the arrow is kind of just to the right of that. So we're coming down and around. So I'm going to try my best to make the map on my page do that same thing. And on mine, it looks like this. And yours, get as close as you can to that map in the book. And this, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just gives you an idea of what part of the Americas he was looking around at. Okay, let's see what else we can find out about Henry Hudson. Holland and England kept searching for a northern sea route to Asia. They all wanted to go to Asia. Asia was where it was at. In 1609, the Dutch East India Company in Holland hired Henry Hudson, an English sea captain. Okay, so let's pause there for 1 second. Henry Hudson was a sea captain. He was sponsored by Holland. And the whole point, like, why did they sponsor him? Because they wanted a new route to Asia. They wanted him to search for a new route to Asia. Because it just took way too long to get there. Okay, it says in 1609, that's when they hired him. So that is the start of this, 1609 to, we don't know yet. We'll find out shortly though. Okay, so let's see. He set out to reach China by sailing across the top of Europe near the Arctic Circle. His crew grew tired of ice and cold. They rebelled against their captain. Hudson agreed to change course and sail west across the Atlantic instead. So they were rebelling against him, and he said, okay, I will compromise, because you don't want a whole crew angry with you. I don't think that would be much fun. In July, Hudson and his men reached Maine and settled south to Chesapeake Bay. Returning north, the ship entered a narrow harbor. Hudson saw a large body of water leading north. Believing this was the Northwest Passage, Hudson sailed up the waterway, so he thought, I finally found the shortcut. When the water became too shallow for his boat, Hudson realized that it was only a river. Today, this is called the Hudson River. Henry Hudson, Hudson River, coincidence? I think not. But this voyage gave Holland a claim in North America. By 1624, the Dutch had settled in Hudson Valley. A year later, in 1610, English merchants paid for Hudson to cross the Atlantic again. Sailing farther north, Hudson reached Canada. He passed through a long, narrow strait into a large body of water. Hudson was sure that he had reached the Pacific Ocean, but sailing down the coast, he found no opening. Then the waters froze, trapping the ship for the winter. In fact, Hudson had not reached the Pacific. The large body of water was a bay, now called Hudson Bay. Coincidence? I think not. He drew the first map of the Hudson Bay. In spring, the crew rebelled again. They set Hudson, his son, and 7 others afloat in a small boat with no food. He was never seen again. but his voyage did give England a claim to eastern Canada. So the last year of his exploration, 1610. Very sad. So let's put this 1610 here. All right, some impacts. He did get to claim land for Holland. So claimed land for Holland. I don't think he's going to win the best captain award because it doesn't seem like his crew members liked him very much. He started a settlement. He had some things named after him. It's pretty cool. We're not going to list that down. We're going to say that he drew the first map of Hudson Bay. Drew the first map of Hudson Bay. All right, we are done for today. Have a great weekend.